Здравствуйте, уважаемые участники.
Good afternoon, distinguished participants and guests of the forum. I am the moderator of our roundtable. My name is Margarita Gafarova. So our first discussion is connected with new growth points for economy and technologies for shorter investment cycle. Just because we will talk about the new opportunities and new development, new ways of development of personnel, technologies, and so on. So today we'll have the representative of the top regional enterprises, so that would be a profitable discussion. And to open our roundtable, we'd like to give the floor to the Director of the Workforce Productivity, Defense and Promotion of Investment Department of Ministry of Economy and the Development of the Russian Federation. It's Alexander Molotov via Zoom. So Alexander Vitalovich, good afternoon. Good afternoon. We would like to share our results and also to congratulate you with the success. I must add that we have started this project. It was pilot. There were a lot of hypotheses, a lot of nuances which we needed to check here in the Republic of Bashkortostan. And it wasn't a state project, it was just a top priority program of the Ministry of Development. And mostly it consisted of those people who were creative, initiative, and the most powerful companies, among which there were 7 pilot programs. No one truly believed that we will have such results, which we would be proud to tell to our president. And we would like to thank everyone who participated in it. Of course, the results are crucial. 145 representatives who took part in the national project, high places in all the rates which we had, and the high assessment of the regional centers. 2,600 people took part in it. More than 100 heads and directors also undergo the training. What I would like to tell about the project is to change the culture of production. At our start, from the scratch, we work as promoters. We went from one enterprise to another and asked to work on the workforce productivity, to build up the industrial manufacturing process. And most of them answered that they don't want to communicate with the government and to conduct anything. After this stage of asking and claiming, we stopped to do this just because the results showed themselves. So all the enterprises started to show initiative. What do we have in the current situation? Right now we see that we are not talking about the workforce productivity as just an item where you can place a tick that you fulfill it and that's all, just because we did some retraining programs and that's all. Right now we feel the need for it, and I could say that it is kind of forced productivity right now. While we undergo all the stages, I like this term, but from the economical point of view, most of the enterprises went through the storm because we had COVID-19 and the current situation which we have in politics right now. We could tell that we became stronger, and it helped the enterprises not just to exist during this period, but to succeed even within the terms of COVID, even if it was too long. And right now, we feel the need to work on our workforce productivity because we cannot gain the volume of production without it. Just because right now you have an opportunity to broaden the range, but if you still do not work on your workforce productivity, you will not read it. Of course, a lot of people believe that only investments could help, but it's mostly about the length of cycle. You would not do it swiftly right now to broaden the volume of production and also provide your staff higher salary. You can do it with the inner reserves, current and long-term work. So right now we would like to take part in the national projects, and right now we have more than 2,000 different enterprises who would like to take part. Here in Bashkortostan, we have a lot of opportunities to participate. And I can say that you still have this opportunity. What else I wanted to say? I think that we succeed to work on the culture of the high productivity and range it as something that we used to have. Within the framework as the regional standard, where a lot of colleagues are actively participating, we try to make it simple and comfortable for investors to implement it faster. Right now we switched to the methods of high productivity in this sphere. Right now we have 7 pilot projects, and within 20 years, a lot of companies take part in it. We started with Rosatom, and a significant part of the team is also built of the people from Rosatom, and from first stage and up to each next, we are quite effective. For those enterprises, they reduce the terms of getting the first income from it. They have more opportunities to put their money back into turnover. We have the same technologies, but we can reduce the time to apply for it and make simply the entrance of it. I think that we need to continue this work, and we were also supported by the representative of government. We shared our results, and there was kind of claim that we would work further up to the year 2024, not only within the fields of industry, but maybe some other fields too. I would like to thank the colleagues who participated in it. Thank you very much. Maybe if somebody has question to Alexander, you could ask right now. There are no questions, so excuse me. Good afternoon, Alexander Vitalovich. I wanted to ask about the broadening of the fields of industries which you would like to include. Are there any suggestions which fields would be included too? I wanted to say that it's a kind of preliminary list, because we have no decision on truly broadening the project. We believe that we'll take the health resort complex and some other fields. We will talk on details of it further, but the basis would be industry, agriculture, transport, and health resort. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alexander, and we'll go further. The participants, the enterprises would have private support, and they will experts which will provide the assistance on site and also within the processes. And I would like to give the floor to Alexei Chesnakov, the head of the Training Management Department. He connects via Zoom, Could you please tell us more about training, training and industrial programs and platforms in the sphere of workforce productivity?
Вас не слышим.
Sorry, we don't hear you.
Так, пока нет звука.
There are some problems with connection. We have no sound.
Так, хотела уточнить.
Well, I wanted to ask for some details for
Тоже
Maximov Alexei, if he's near you right now. Now we can hear you. That's nice. Now we can hear you, so you can take the floor. One sec, we will show our presentation. Unfortunately,
пока вы у нас.
can you see our presentation? No, we see only you.
Такие накладочки есть.
Sorry, we have some issues.
Так,
So share.
нас видно, да?
Да.
Презентацию видно?
Мы
Скажите.
Could you see the presentation?
Начнем. Всем
Nice. We could start. Good morning or good afternoon for everyone. I would like to thank you for the participation and the event. First of all, we wanted to mention that the Regional Center of Competences, as the operator of the federal project, it's not only about training. The main thing is about projects
поиск восприятия резерв.
on searching the reserves which help the industries, enterprises to develop. No doubt everyone knows that investments into personnel are also that crucial as into the equipment. Without training the personnel, you cannot implement any changes in the manufacturing process.
Дает обучение.
You know that the most profitable and training comes through practice on the basis of cases, here and now, examples which you study while training. So, in addition to the classical workshops, Federal Center gives such a variant of a training program which is called the Factory of Processes, where all the participants could get the experience of using the tools of manufacturing on site within real time. They could see how all the tools and instruments could influence on the economic
Операционные показатели.
and operational numbers, figures of the process. Nowadays, the federal centers has already realized 3
Отраслных процессов. Их
process factories, logistic processes, for example. Currently,
процессов реализовано в регионах
at least 966,
офисных процессов.
only 90 process factories were already implemented.
Within training of regional teams.
Что
So,
вы просто
alongside with the product, the factory process, we can implement it as a training, educational training, so that people can come and participate, or we can come to the region. But at the same time, we do the development of these factories to the customer's request, based on any kind of production activity or process. What does it give? It gives, first of all, knowledge and skills
ну, и в
about the losses, about the processes of production, understanding of basic tools
исключить
that can be used to eliminate these losses, to implement it.
В первую очередь,
For the personnel, first of all, it's despite the fact it's a top management or regular personnel who work as a specialists, it's a motivation for application and spreading these principles on their workplaces, on enterprises. Of course, it's profitable in terms of increasing the labor productivity.
процессов
What does it look like, this factory? It's a kind of a business game, business model, where participants in a classic version of it, within 3 rounds, within 3 shifts, they try to implement the process that we have in the scenario and to get the results set in the scenario. And because of the theory that the training gives within one event, to implement these events between the rounds and to see in life these or that changes affect the process, what indexes are increasing, what are reducing. We can trace them in information centers to have an understanding where we need to work more. Within one day, people get the understanding, the clear understanding of what have been done, did it work,
они понимают
and they understand what they can already
в первую очередь
do when they return to their workplaces, what implementations they can make.
хотелось бы отметить,
I would like to highlight that without this systematic approach to the improvement, without the implementation of the project, of course it's impossible to get the results. That's why I would like to give floor to Alexei, because we don't have a lot of time, and he would tell us how, in fact, these projects on optimization of business processes are implemented on the sites of customers, of process customers.
Спасибо большое. Да.
Thank you very much. So we give floor to the head of Department of Implementation of Special Project, to Alexei Maximov. Thank you. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Do you see the screen? Yes, we can see it. And the presentation? No, we can't see the presentation.
у нас проблемы с демонстрацией.
We have a problem of demonstrating our screen, sharing our screen. Probably some kind of a technical issue. Right now we can see the presentation. It's all okay. Okay, so we can share. Okay.
Сейчас видно, да?
Right now you can see it. Yes, we see the presentation. Very nice. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, I would like to speak about the typical plan of the process for optimization of business processes. As any other project, it consists of 4 major parts. It's preparation, diagnostic and development, implementation, and closure. So at the first stage, we form interdepartmental work groups with the participants of business process that we are implementing, and also the personnel from the other departments, so that they can say what problems they also see. And it's also very important to focus on the development of passport for the task of the project. What do we want to achieve? What do we want to treat? And we do the questionnaire at the same stage of both the clients and the personnel. And we need to identify how satisfied the clients and the participants of the project are. And the final stage of preparation, we need to make a meeting with the working group, with the customer, to say a few words about methodology, about the tasks, and briefly about the tools that we're going to implement. On the second stage, during the diagnostics, the major tool that we use is facting of our process. We build a map of facts. And when the process is ideal, and we make the map of target condition is where we want to come at the end of the project. Here we form the list of the problems, how to solve these problems, or probably the photo of the working day. With the help of the tools for solving problems, we're trying to find the original causes. On the stage of implementation, we reach everything we planned for the end of the project. And I would like to highlight here some clients, some customers. Later on, they're planning to train all their personnel for the tools of lean production according to their custom design. And we develop the programs and give examples from this process, and we train and give them, the personnel, these programs. So we certify trainers. They become certified trainers. They have programs that describe the best practices, not some imaginary factories, but at their own project. And then they can train their own personnel and implement the tools depending on their process. And on the final stage, we control whether we reached everything we planned. We do the measurements of the process. We make sure that we reach the aims, and we finish the project. And I'm ready to answer your questions, colleagues. Yeah, do you have any questions? I would like to clarify, in Bashkortostan, we have some changes in terms that right now we have no limitation according to the industry. Enterprises can join the national project. Has it changed or something? Maybe some new industries? Maybe can we clarify? We speak about that we're just planning to add the industries. Right now we have 5 major industries. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Participants of national project can rely on state support measures and beneficial loan in the Republic of Bashkortostan. And in more details about it, the chief manager for the development of industry of development, Vadim Sharipov, will speak about it. Good afternoon, colleagues. At the beginning, I will speak about the foundation, the fund. Maybe some of you doesn't know. We were formed in 2017. This year we have an anniversary, 5-year anniversary to be exact. And in fact, we were formed by the Ministry of Industry, by the government of our republic. So they have 100% of participation. And the task was very simple. It was derived from the name of our fund, is to help the development of the industry in our republic. Currently, the measures of financial support, one of the measures of financial support, one of the directions of our activity, is rendering beneficial loans to enterprises of the republic that deal within the process industry, within 12 programs that we finance. They all divided into different sums of support. From 5 to 20 million is the Republican budget for the implementation of investment projects. If we speak about bigger sums from 20 to 100 million, our big brother helps us in the form of support and financing from the federal budget, the Foundation for the Development of Industry of the Russian Federation. So the ratio here is the financial shoulder from the federal fund is 70%, and Republic gives 30% of funds for the implementation of the projects. And I must tell you that the investment project must be aimed at large scaling the production activity. In our paradigm, there is a certain understanding that large scaling of activity consists of obtaining by the enterprises all the facilities. With the help of this investment, you can substantially increase the potential of the enterprise. And within this frame, we work really. Depending on the program, there are opportunities to increase the amount of money that we need for the further effectiveness of the implementation of the project, and depending on the program as well. It's not more than 20 and 50% of in some programs from the budget of the project.
The
loan, to be exact. Sorry. Our results today, it's 111 supported projects with the common budget with more than 40 million rubles. They were given 16 billion rubles from the federal budget to the Republic, as I mentioned before. Our Republican funds were 1,200,000,000. And within this project, we planned the creation 2,038 new workplaces, and budget effectiveness must be 23 billion rubles. So as you can see, we keep to that program. So the invested money in the form of taxes, they return in a very big volume back to the budget. The results of our work only for the 2022, it's 26 projects supported. In the green line, you can see our projects. The red, it's the support rendered by the foundation from federal budget, and the blue one, there's some projects. It's the mutual loans from 20 to 100 million rubles. So the total budget of the project is 9 billion rubles. So it's investment into the Republic from the side of the enterprises, and from the Federation we got 5 and 6 billion rubles for supporting the projects of our enterprises in the Republic. Here you can see the regional scope, regional coverage, all the industrial enterprise of the Republic, cooperate. Some of them know, and we have representatives here sitting at the table. The enterprises that we have supported and we're planning to support in the future. And so the industries, it's process industry, as I mentioned before. So it's forestry, light industry, and chemical, machine building, equipment building, and so on. So all our steamers of economy, we're trying to support them on the side of the state so that they can develop. Within the frame of support, this year, as you remember, when the interest rate was increased by the government, and the government was holding the growth of inflation. At this period, we were given funds so that the enterprises could smoothly and painlessly buy the circulation funds in the commercial banks. So we were substituting or complementing the interest rates. We managed to help 26 companies to reduce their expenses concerning the interest rate for the loans up to the level of 90% from their expenses. And these 26 enterprises received 50 grants. And the Federation gave us 129 million rubles. So it's quite an effective tool as I mentioned, but it's kind of anti-crisis character. But the enterprise didn't stop. They managed to get themselves the raw materials for the production. It's around 10 billion was given because of this support, 10 billion of loans, and they preserved the working places. And right now we made a pause, because as you know, the central bank's interest rate is coming to the reality. So if it will be necessary, the tool is already worked out. If it will be demanded, we will support in the future. Also, within the frame of support of investment projects, there is a possibility of getting investment loan, or credit with subsidies of the interest rate on behalf of the Foundation of Industry Development, and making it up to 3% per annum. And we supported one project within this category. It's called Corona, or Crown. So they received a credit loan in Sberbank, and in amount of 50 million rubles, and we rendered this service of support, and we subsidized 5 million rubles in interest rate. This support measure requires approval from the government. All you perfectly know that the head of the republic conducts investment hours, conduct industrial hours, where the enterprises can present their investment projects, and with the help of the government, we are ready to render this kind of support. Currently, the fund is the pilot project for creation of specialized industrial cluster. What is the industrial cluster, you will ask? Well, in a couple of words, it's a system of cooperation that allows industrial enterprises to localize the production and to increase, step aside from the import goods to substitute it with local. So the idea is to organize these chains, this production chains, so the enterprises would exchange the resources, create new products, and push out the things we bought abroad from the market. Within this work, we have created 4 clusters on the territory of our republic. One is in the stage of approval, so all these clusters enter to the register, to the Unified Federal Register of Clusters, and they have to defend. They have to go through the procedure of defend to enter the cluster. Right now we have furniture cluster, aviation cluster, industrial cluster, and machine building cluster. Right now it's light industry cluster is going through these procedures. And here the foundation is a kind of a moderator of this process, uniting the enterprises or gathering enterprises, talking to them, create these clusters and defends these clusters. And in the future, there is a possibility in the implementation of investment project to get financial support from the Federation up to 300 million rubles for the implementation of the projects connected with import substitution. Some results of our activity are presented on this slide. These results of work that concerning the rendered measures of support today, currently, thanks to the implementation of these supportive measures, we have produced 32 billion worth goods. The volume of paid tax is 2.8 million rubles. So in the process of production, more than 6,000 people involved. It's only with our projects, our supported projects, and the volume of purchases that the enterprises makes on the territory of our republic, so cooperates with other enterprises of our region, is 9.5 billion rubles. That was the last slide. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer them. If you have questions after our round table, then please come up to me, and I will be glad and happy to answer them.
Are there any questions? Anyway, we'll have some spare time. Excuse me. I wanted to talk about the loans from 20 up to 100 and 20 million. Is it connected with region or mostly the whole country? Here we noted the funds, the sums ready to, which our republic is ready to provide. If you need more, there is an opportunity to apply for federal funding. Here you need to have greater projects for implementation. Of course, you have an opportunity to do it. And we are ready to support and consult you how to do it, what are the terms, how to apply for it, and which documents do you need. Thank you for the question. Thank you. I wanted to ask, because I have heard from you such warm words which you're ready to assist. So talking about the regional competence center. So the tasks of our regional competence centers is to give assistance. For example, the company can take the loan for 5 years, isn't it? Yes, for 5 years, but it's enough to implement the project effectively and reach the level where you will gain profit of it. I must add that while financing the projects, while giving law, you have a time, you have a term where you have only 1% of payment annually. On the line of the regional competence center, the workforce productivity, it's 1%, and also beneficial period on paying the main debt for 3 years. So you start paying the debt with the same share for 2 years. So it's quite effective way for enterprises to gain profit from their investments and start paying the debts from them. Thank you. Thank you. Azmat Vanzilovich, I want to give the floor to you. Davletbayev Azmat Vanzilovich, the head of the projects on the optimization of the flow on the workforce productivity of the Republic of Bashkortostan. Good afternoon, distinguished participants of the forum. I'd like to greet you here. Thank you for participation in our session, that you have found time to spend it with us. I want to talk more about the Regional Competence Center and duties and tasks which we are implementing right now. As I mentioned before, and Alexander Vitalyevich too, in order to provision the effectiveness of workforce productivity, not less than 25% a year, and also in order to increase the effectiveness, the Republic of Bashkortostan entered
Приоритетную программу повышения
top priority program on increasing the workforce productivity and supporting of employment. In 2018, we had a regional center for competences in the sphere of workforce productivity. Nowadays, since 2019, our regional center provides free consulting for participants of national projects on the implementation of federal projects and increasing of workforce productivity within the enterprise.
занимается тиражированием
So our center is not only gaining knowledge but also sharing it and provides the training of the employees, which help to increase the effectiveness of the production right from the start up to the end of production. Regional Center of Competencies provide different scholarships for the representatives of the national projects and federal projects. You could visit some model enterprises within the country and also within the region. For example, KAMAZ. We also conduct meetings with Sberbank. Nowadays, Regional Competence Center signed the agreements with 74 participants of different projects. Quite a big amount of them have already implemented their projects right now. 12 enterprises are being implemented right now. What about the flow? It's the top priority task of the Regional Competence Center on development of the image flow. Here on the slide you can see what are the results after work with the experts and implementation of the federal projects. First of all, it's reduction of the time. The second is rising of effectiveness and also reducement of the unfinished works. Apart from that, the coaches of workforce the trainers, the coaches of Regional Competence Center are working and conducting education. We have 9 programs which could be held, which could be conducted for the enterprise. There is also the preparation for increasing workforce productivity. 66 participants has already finished it successfully. These are the people who could spread the effective practices after training. They have all the methodological materials, all the competences which were needed, mentioned previously by Regional Competence Center. The Regional Competence Center also has 2 clusters, 2 fields which they develop right now. My colleagues have already mentioned the advantages of joining these programs. So I could say that these workshops show that salary comes not from the pocket of your director. It's all about customer. So all the processes should provide satisfactory work for the customer. To become the participant of the project, the enterprise needs to join the national project. These are the main tasks, the main steps to get the help. First of all, the annual income. The second, there should be representatives from foreign countries, And also the workforce productivity should be not less than 70%. And they should be basic fields like transport, construction, agriculture, and so on. So if the enterprise wants to join it, they need to sign in on the internet portal. That's all. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer. Maybe now or later. I also wanted to announce, as I mentioned before, we have model enterprises from our republic where we can take people for industrial excursion, and today we organize one excursion. So you can find detailed information from the organizers and visit our enterprise and see in real life what you will get from participating in national project. Thank you very much. Right now we have no questions, but I have a question, Azamat. Could you please tell more about the economical effect on implementation of this project? Maybe some examples of your events. Nowadays, the economical effect from the implemented advantages is more than 1 billion rubles. One of the figures, I don't know whether the companies would agree with me to share their results, but there are some enterprises which can and also preserve their expenditures at the same level which they had right at the beginning of entering this project. There are some enterprises which gain not just clear income advantages, but they get rid of unemployment problem, which is also quite widespread on the enterprises. So people, the employees, could get comfortable workplace, and it also working on some of the problems which could be solved. So where does... What about the employees of the regional competence centers? Where do they gain knowledge? I could say that they have a big working experience and they worked on the enterprises, in different enterprises for quite long. Coming here, I could say that we just give them retraining on the methodology of regional competence center. So we take their knowledge, their experience, and boost it up with our methodics. Right now we have 2 coaches which have all the competences on the workshop which I showed before, and also 10 heads of the enterprises which are doing this program right now. I would like to give the floor to Ekaterina Kosinova. Could you please tell about the implementation of the project on the workforce production? Good afternoon, dear participants. I'm so glad to be here at this event. I wanted to tell you more about this project and how we implemented it at our enterprise.
In January 2020, we were offered to be a participants of the project to increase the productivity. For us, it was a terra incognita, so to say, and we were met not very happily because the personnel is always busy with some routine work, and it wasn't very clear what was offered and what results we would get. This Center of Competence in Republic, they gave us a good curator, and he still helps us, supports us, and together with him, with next half a year after entering into the project, we were trained. We underwent through all the stages of working on the project. He could break the attitude of our personnel, of our management, and he showed the prospects of what we can get. And we formed a team from very active and interested personnel. And it was not only top managers, it was the linear managements, operators, and the participants of quality control departments. So we tried to take one person from each department to participate in the project. And after we made the team, we formed the area which we want to improve or to hold an experiment. And we took our well-sold product because it was obvious for us there's nothing else we can improve. And we started the work. Here we had a very interesting and long way. It was very hard to find the time in the routine work to work on the project because it took a lot of time. I mean, the training, and the more we deepened into this process, into this factory process, the process became more and more involving. So what we learned, our personnel learned to see the process, to divide it into the stages, to identify the risks, our narrow spots, everything, the losses. We were trained the methodology of lean production, and there was an opportunity to implement them directly in our production. As a result, we got, sorry, I didn't switch the slides. So this is our team. Right now it's a bit changed. It became bigger, larger. So what we've learned during the process, we learned to make mapping of the current state, ideal state. We made the diagram of spaghetti, or spaghetti diagram. We saw a lot of losses and the problems that were really small issues, but in the long run it gave huge economical effect. And after all these measures, we made a huge plan to get the targets, and we divided it into simple steps that we could able to implement at that time in online mode, so to say, and without attracting huge investments, we were able to implement it. The events were aimed, besides elimination of losses, they were aimed at increase of quality and increase of its security. Here we have a few examples on the slide. I would like to show you what we've done. The production that deals with the processing of vegetables and canned products, a lot of manual work was engaged at the preparation of products. So it's like peeling and washing of vegetables. And all these methods that we used and improved our results, and that helped us to improve our results, it's the simple constructive solutions on the changes of conveyors, adding in the plan of event changes of some spare parts. It seems like not really heavy, but it gives a good effect. We made the patterns for, well, let's say, forming batches of raw materials that goes through the processing. So it's increasing labor productivity on each single stage. So logistically, we changed the logistics, production logistics. We optimized the batches of raw materials that go into the processing. We excluded changing the crates, building up the facilities. We optimized a lot of processes. We shifted from manual work to automated mode, and it didn't require a lot of investments. We changed the logistics for uploading pallets with the ready products. A lot of things we had from the technical service, so that some kind of patterns, the crates, trays, everything that could, make the human labor easier in the process. We improved our storage facilities, and that helped to reduce the time of the process, reduce the number of faults, and increase the speed of the loading the ready product to the customers. As a result, we reached economic effect that we couldn't even were relying on. The target was lower than our ambitions. So, if we had 30 people in the current, the target was 20, 25. So we managed to get it with 22 people on shift. So the people. So we could rearrange the employment of people, and we send them to the areas where we were lacking. And the process was built more linear and more even, more smooth. And we increased productivity up to 2 times practically, and we didn't rely on that result. So we increased the productivity 2 times, and I believe that's a enormous result for us, a cosmic result for us, because it was the kind of a pilot project, and we were learning. We were just learning. This project not only taught us methodology, but it taught us to look at the process at a different angle, differently, not the way we come to the workplace and we see the cabbage being sliced, to identify the narrow spots. And our employees, they increased their competence level, their motivation level. And besides the participation in the project, it was a fantastic team-building motivation. We identified the diamonds in our team that you don't really notice them. They do their job, but they have a huge potential that they don't use. And this project helped us to highlight it. I also was happy to go through the training and become a trainer for lean production in the company. And right now, we continue this work. And according to results of 2020, I'd like to say that we scaling this project on other areas of production, and each year we set ourselves ambitious plans. So it's not only about the productivity increase, it's about the decrease of losses and so on. And all these financial results, they help to save help to save money that we use for purchasing new equipment, thus increasing our productivity. In 2020, we increased productivity of the line by 20%, line of vegetable canning 24%, the juice line for 11%. We minimized the losses of ready products production, and we decreased the risks for production of faulty goods. So this is one of the major projects that we were happy to enter, and we were just really lucky. And thank you to the Regional Competence Center, because they still support us, they still train us, and if we have any difficulty, any time of the day, we can address to them and get the qualified help. That's my. Do you have any questions to Ekaterina? Please. It's me again, and it's not like a question, but gratitude, to food industry in your personality. Thank you for participation. Thank you for your work, and thank you for because you also involve your partners into our regional center. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. I would like to remind you that our time is limited, so please stick to the timing. And I give the floor to the next speaker, Director for Organizational Development of Ural Spring Factory, Evgenia Sholova.
Good afternoon, distinguished participants and also friends. Thank you for the opportunity to share my experience and also to gain experience from other participants here.
Так слышно?
I will show the presentation. Can you hear me? Thank you. I will tell a bit more about Interpros, our factory. We work on the production for train industry and also car industry.
Порядка 600 человек.
Right now, we have 600 people among employees, and we are working on the development of production system. For us, it's very important for us how other people see us, especially the modern vision of our company. And for us, it was of the top priority to enter the project on the workforce production. We have chosen the platform for implementation of this project. It was
Стадии выхода на проектную мощность.
our space, one of our spaces, and we had a task to provide twice bigger
Обучение.
amount of products for our customer. Our colleagues, our workers also finished the training course. 3 years ago, we have already thought of a organization of such training, and right now we had this ability. It's very helpful to build up the opinion of the colleagues, the team, and prepare them for the implementation of the project.
Анализ текущего состояния.
We've made the analysis of the current state. I would not tell that much details about it
Задачи по обеспечению там,
in order to implement the tasks according to the order of our customer. We made the current state analysis, built a map of flow, found out all the problems about the equipment, personnel, culture, all the supporting processes, talked about targets, and we also needed to reduce the time for the implementation of the process 2 times. We've reached our goals. We've finished and fulfilled all the tasks. Thank you, Kirill, Alexandra, for support in this project, for supervision. As for economical numbers, we can see them, of course, but as for other results, we have a real team changing in our culture, opportunities to implement similar projects further. We also made some advancements in our dashboards, but here we decided that our word should be the last. During our morning meetings, we don't talk about the implementation of the plan or any changes which we need there. It's only about the problems which we have found in our work. Even if we talk about the numbers of the personnel, we still have some hidden problems.
Мы приняли для себя правила,
For example,
там, где возникла проблема, и
if we have the employee turnover, we stop to gain new people for a special job opportunity, for special job position, or even to the department. And only when we solve this problem, we could employ somebody. First of all, we talk about our experience, but we should think over our results. In this case, the result of our project will become our knowledge. We decided to implement the projects which we had that time in our company and realized that our planning system is ineffective. Our
клиентам. Тем самым
manufacturing planning was out of our company. We had chaos in all the supporting supplying processes.
вы затрачиваете
We were worried.
медленнее,
If you walk on the street with the tempo you got used to, it's easy for you. But if somebody will ask you to be slower, that would be difficult. The same as with manufacturing, because when you manufacture something and you need to change the speed, for example, it's very necessary to get used to it. Right now,
поверхности не синхронизируются.
we have decided to have an image of metronome because in accordance with the surface you place them on, when you have two of them, they could be synchronized if you do the surface right. It should be done from the wind. You should get the balance and balance the whole system.
Мы
We started to find enterprises which had similar experience. Visited some of them, for example, Guru,
реализации подобных проектов
watched the implementation of their projects,
и свой рынок.
got their experience, studied our market, and decided that we need to change our system of work on the production. Right now, we are at the stage of implementation of this project. We truly need support of regional competence center, but we cannot meet the terms of the projects because you mostly have those projects which are for half a year.
Найдем точки соприкосновения.
But I think that we could find links.
Хотелось бы сказать, что
To sum up, I wanted to say those companies exist who are flexible, who could change in accordance with the inner and outer world. Thank you very much, Evgenia. Are there any questions?
Тогда передаю слово
Okay, so now I'll give the floor to the Quality Department Director, Alexei Balashov. Good afternoon, distinguished participants, colleagues, and partners. I'm so glad to see you at this meeting. I would like briefly tell about our factory of plastic details in the Republic of Bashkortostan. We are at the market for more than 30 years, not only our domestic, but also we worked for export. What are we working on? We provide the goods for children, pets, furniture, and other soft industry products or customer goods. Fakhridinov Rail, being a CEO, decided which they need to broaden our market as a former director. But we had some problems. We needed more funds to develop the company. Of course, we could implement new management system, we could work on retraining, and we decided to participate in the program of Industry Development Fund. After that, after participating in this program, we signed with the Expert Center an agreement on the 2nd of February 2018. The director of it came to our factory and they started to work actively on the introducing of these projects. As for tools, I will touch upon them a bit further. What I wanted to add, we have implemented 2 projects with the federal center and 1 project with national center. And we don't want to stop. So if there is somebody who are the heads of the manufacturing systems, I'd like to say, do not stop. So all the experts, they help you to implement the projects. From my working experience, I could say that we have implemented 16 projects since 2018. I must add that the tools of academy, for those who are interested in it, most of you are here in order to find some practice. You can find all the slides, all the video and data how to do this.
So we contact in 2 people. These are Dmitry Semin. He's here today. And Sosnovich, he's in Благовещенsk right now. And his surname is Sosnovich and his name is Sergei. But in this case, I would like to share my experience. We went through technical audit with the Federal Center of Competence, but that wasn't the final point. We were shown our mistakes, were given some tools, and later on, with the help of Foundation of Development of Industry, what we implemented. So the new product was launched for 365 days, and we reduced it up to 180. So we are ahead of our competitors on the market. So we implemented the process of drawers on the one area, and we made robotization. Then we implemented some projects. Each project gives 3-4% of labor productivity. The storage has reduced. So today we work both from the storage and from the wheel, so to say, using this technology. We introduced the ERP system of planning, the system of production planning, ERP. They're connected with 1S very closely, and we're trying to connect it into one structure of planning resources. But what I would like to say about the nuances, so we had the task to increase productivity by 2024 by 20%. It was ambitious, but we fulfilled it by 14%. But we still have 2 years to run, so we still have some space to move. I'd like to say the following, that concerning the tools for the productivity, we need the major drivers. But the driver is strategy, commercial, production, and personnel strategy. From my experience, I can share that the federal center, as the regional center, they make basics of, you can increase productivity, but the quality will go down. That's why the stress by Rosatom was that we need productivity, but without decrease in quality. So the client is ready to buy product, the quality that is in usage, in action, but we don't need excess quality. So we have to regulate the expenses of everything you implement and get from the production activity. What else I would like to mention concerning my presentation? We have the presentation. It's about the plant in general. And about the tools. Having this experience, the entrance to the project is that we cannot ignore the quality, and you can enter any project with the help of the passport of the process. But people usually don't spend time developing the passport stages and the tools. But when we enter the pilot project, we need to understand what do we want from this strategy, and we need to have the passport of the process. After we get this passport, we have these problematic zones, and after that we can plan the further activity, intervening of problematic zones. It doesn't really require to implement some very expensive software. You can use the wall like it is done on KAMAZ, you know. So in general, you can use the tree of the current reality. The next thing, what we have implemented up to date, we have instrumental workshop with the processing equipment of the 5th generation that can produce press forms. We have thermoplastic automates, and we have extrusion. So we have the major extrusion here, and all the areas are shown here. What is the next thing? It's also very important to support the PTS process, the culture of production. I told you about robotization, and the example of all the maps, all technological maps, conflict maps, operation process maps, they look like that. The same way as the factory of process looks like. People get confused with the flow and process. So when there were people who didn't understand certain what is where and how, that this production culture turned into a separate zone. It's a smart system of alternative that allows us to increase the culture of production in our enterprise. So we have a unique culture, and we need to cultivate it and increase it and develop it. So that's why we train the person on each stage of work in any field, from the worker to the manager for the worker. Don't forget about the timing. Yes, I would like to say the following about 7 types of losses. I won't mention anything about that. If you don't do with the losses, I would like to say the next thing, a good practice is information center. It's one of the centers of sharing experience and the result of your project teams. Next, application of spaghetti. If you see a certain area of productivity gave 5%, increased 5% only because of logistics. Look at the logistics here. The next, and the colleague said about the flow, target flow. So this is the target flow, and this is the result of your actions and implementations of tools. And to standardize your activities, we implement mapping and the workplace. And it's all connected to the system of production planning. Different places. 1, 2, 3. Alexei Viktorovich, I have to interrupt you. Sorry. And the last thing I would like to say, colleagues, there is a certain form agreed by the Minister of Economic Development. You can use it because if you calculate it wrong, it gives you the wrong result. And the last thing I would like to say, that we have partners. We have the development of range of products. We're working, and we hope for mutual cooperation. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer them. Thank you. Questions? So let's speak about the import substitution in oil industry. The speaker is Sergei Kuvshinov. Good afternoon, colleagues. I would like, on behalf of Bashnipineft, to tell you about the experience of Rosneft in digitalization of industrial processes. Let me speak a few words. Bashnipneft is the biggest research and development design institute of Rosneft. The institute has huge experience. We celebrated 75-year anniversary this year, and the major activity is to make a full cycle development design of oil fields, and we are a major developer of software of Rosneft and the distributor of this software. All digital technologies of Rosneft, they are united into knowledge involving software, and they aim to the development of all technological processes of the company. So the aims of this software: technological security and import independence. When other suppliers of foreign software leave the market, stop their support, stop sales of licenses, Rosneft develops its products and make them available for other enterprises of oil and gas industry and for mining industries as well. On this slide, you can see the dynamics of development of the software that unites all the key processes from the investigation, exploration to the production. We have 23 products and 10 products on the external market. And we expect the effect is plus 10 billion rubles on the company scale. Currently, the strategy is that to the external market, we launch the products that were already tested on the local market. Today we have 600 licenses sold to partners and 40 plus to our outer oil and gas service companies. And others are tested by other oil and gas industries. And within the framework of import independence, we implement our line to the leading universities of the country, absolutely for free, to improve the quality of education of specialists. And I would like to highlight the company has a lot of complexes and has all the possibilities for creation and testing the software. That's it. Thank you, colleagues. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Right now, I'd like to give the floor to Ramil Siddiqov, the head of the development department on the increasing the workforce productivity of Lascelles-Becker. Good afternoon, distinguished participants. We talked a lot on the topics, but in accordance with the statistics, the introduction of workforce productivity, you have an increase for 20%, and the quality rises for 40%. You can reduce the time of production, and this tool could make our company competitive and more interesting for the employees. I would like to introduce our production system of Lascelles-Becker LB Pro. I will tell a bit more about our company. We were founded in 2006. The area of the enterprise is 60 hectares. We are located in Ufa district, Zubova. It is planned to broaden the area of the enterprise for 5 million square meters. We work round the clock. The team is 478 people. We have retail points, selling points, more than 2,500. Right now we have more than 70 collections, and we are certified according to ISO 9001. I would like to tell more what is it, the production system. It's the way how all the companies reach their goals. It is necessary for successful activity of each enterprise and to make all the processes more effective. For us, we stated our goals and found the principles for effective management. It helps us swiftly find the problems and eliminate them without any losses. We have the motto, smart people plus smart technologies. In accordance with the strategy, we have developed the goals. First is proactivity, not to wait when you will be told to do something and try to predict what you need to do. It's all about the involvement of employees and motivation. There should be 12 ideas for one person. The second is safety. We want to reduce damages on the workplace. Also near miss. We would like to eliminate it. And right now, employees try to work on it. The next is quality. We would like to reduce breakages and any other defects. Then effectiveness, to live without losses among the team. We've created our own model. It looks like a rocket here. You can see all our goals in it. The top of it is increase of the satisfaction of our customers. So all our activities are aimed at satisfaction of our customers. But we need to make it faster, to act faster. So the work of our employees is aimed at satisfaction of our clients. We've built up the main priorities for ourselves until the year 2023. We have standards in our work. We try to reach quality in the processes, make the automatization, also shift the control from the ready-made products into the process. We try to reduce losses. Next, we want to be client-friendly or customer-friendly. We cannot live without development of people because people are the main resource of all the enterprises, and we try to gain more knowledge and be more qualified, be the real professionals in our company. The last is application of the best practices of other companies and different fields. We have project activity in our company. We have special office for it. We have the project manager, and this position is taken by the heads of different departments. Here you can see the dynamics on the projects implemented by our company. So we have planned to implement 65 projects in 2023. We have initiation, development and planning, implementation, and then summing up the results of the projects. There are two ways of implementing the projects: Scrum projects and step-by-step projects. I think it's very interesting to learn how the interest rate and economical numbers influence on our work. I would like to show you the example of single exchange of dice. It's the third iteration, the third way. We had the goal to transit from 8 to 4 hours for the first good quality product from the switch. We organized good workplaces, made some organizational changes, and also changed the environment where we worked. We've reached the goal. We've reduced it from 8 hours to 4 hours. So it gave us around 7 million rubles.
Есть заводы
We also visit our colleagues in Europe, for example.
в Октябрьском,
We were in Oktyabrski,
заводы конкурентов,
visit our opponents, and they could also visit us in order to exchange our knowledge and experience. For example, Unitile, which also visited us not long ago on the 25th of November. That's all. You can see my contacts on the screen. If you have any questions, I would be very glad to answer. To sum up, I would like to give the floor to Dmitry Sermon. Good afternoon. Maybe I need to sum up this discussion by the question to our guests. How do you feel? An average employee during the 8-hour shift works for maybe 2 hours. You know, the research showed that only 3 hours. The rest time they watch videos, do nothing, drink coffee, and this the statistics of our country too. Only 50% is working properly. We have a lot of things to do in the sphere of in this sphere. For example, Toyota company at the beginning of 50s were working on these tools which we are trying to apply right now. And they still try to advance to reach new goals in production. In accordance to this, our organization and together with your employees are ready to apply these tools and philosophy. That's the question. Thank you.
Коллеги, вопросы? Дмитрий Юрьевич.
Dear colleagues, do you have any questions to Dmitry
Что ж, спасибо большое за
on the lean management? Thank you a lot for the work of Roundtable. I wish you good luck for your enterprises, and I hope that the business week will be very fruitful for you. Thank you.